This is Metropole Television. This is most certainly Business AM. You can actually catch us live at Metropole TVKE. That is on all your social media platforms this morning. Thank you very much for investing your time with us this morning. We are joined by Mr. Samson Mundia, who's going to take us through some of the biggest economic issues this morning. Karibu sana, Mr. Samson.
Asante.
Good. All right. That means, therefore, that we're going to take you through some of the biggest issues of waking up to this morning. But first is that if you didn't know, therefore, that the results for some of the results from the 2019 census report are coming out. Now, new findings from the 2019 Kenya population and housing census show that 75% of Kenya's population is aged below 35 years. According to the latest census report released by the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics, the population aged below 35 years stood at 35.7 million in 2019 compared to 30.2 million in 2009. Richie, give us a report this morning so we can actually get to talk about it.
Aged 18 to 35 was 13.6 million, out of which 61% were working, while 1.6 million were seeking work, or indicated that there was no job available. The number of children aged 5 to 17 years from the conventional household population was 15.866 million, and out of that, 8.5% reported to have been engaged in an economic activity during the 7 days preceding the census night. The most densely populated sub-locations in 2019 were Kware in Nairobi City Council, Nairobi City County, that had a population of 166,517, Tibwani sublocation in Mombasa County with a population of 114,520, Mlolongo in Machakos County with a population of 93,075, Tasia in Nairobi City County with a population of 88,874, Molem in Nairobi City County with a population of 88,039. Again, the most populous urban centers in 2019 were Nairobi City with a population of 4,397,073 persons, Mombasa with a population of 1.2 million, Nakuru with a population of 590,674, Roiro with a population of 490,120, Eldoret with a population of 475,716.
I would like to request all government ministries, counties, development and agencies to make use of the huge data that has been provided as a result of the census, which is set in a vital source of which will be a vital source of information for planning, monitoring, evaluation of various policies, strategies, and development plans at the national, subnational, and sectoral level. I also want to urge all Kenyans to make use of the information that we have released today for decision making, because information you make on the basis of uninformed data will be the best solution for this country, even for yourself. In actually knowing your target customers, even for the private sector, this will be very, very important, because you know how many consumers are there and within what age brackets, what they like, what they don't like, so that now you make targeted decision and then the basis of the supplies and the demands.
That's pretty much it now, that we do know exactly what the report centered on and exactly those numbers that you're being told to use to make your key decisions, even in the private sector for your businesses and also for the county decisions. All right, Samson, I'll come to you now.
Okay.
Good. 61.9% of this youth that forms 75% of the Kenyan population are into active labor. They have something that they are doing.
Yeah, true.
Are those good numbers that we're talking about this morning, going by the fact that even before this census, guys, we're talking about unemployment being at its worst levels in the country?
I'd like maybe first to start and say the census creates a very good platform in terms of creating awareness in terms of what numbers do we have,
yes,
and how many people are employed and how many people are not employed.
Yes.
And the good thing the government should be able to appreciate is we have a very young population in terms of they're not dependent to the old, but a certain percentage of them are unemployed.
Yes.
We appreciate in terms of that. But the government is trying its best in terms of creating employment. At the same time, the government is not also in terms of creating employment. So in my opinion, I would say it's 50-50. Mm-hmm. Some of the young people are unemployed because of one, lack of education,
yes,
lack of skills, and in terms of matching labor in the market.
Yes.
Yes.
Now, Ukur Yatani is actually telling the stakeholders involved and also the counties listening and the business persons listening that this is a very good starting point for you now to utilize this data, therefore to know exactly what your businesses need. From there, I want to take you to another perspective therefore.
Okay.
Nairobi is still leading in terms of population, and you can actually see that even people are moving away from regions like Mombasa to Nairobi therefore for better opportunities. Do you think that the promise of devolution, we said that we're going to devolve health, devolve employment, devolve jobs and take them back to the counties. From now, it looks as if it's not really taking, because it's been 10 years since we actually started this. So far, things don't look like they've actually been devolved, because we're still talking about Nairobi leading in terms of populations. We can actually see it being among the ones that are attracting more populations.
I'll say it's too unfortunate that Nairobi has the highest in terms of population.
Yes.
4 million as the census report reports.
Yes.
So one, as you say in terms of devolution, we can be able to say it's a new system of government in terms of governance. So
would you call it new, Samson?
I would say
it's
new
been
because
10 years, man.
Yes, 10 years. But in terms of this is something new that
Yes.
the government brought into place.
Yes.
And what can be able to say, they've been devolving in terms of government institutions into the counties.
Yes.
But the private sectors, counties have not attracted private sector to be able to go to their counties and be able to invest. Or investment in terms of private sector, we are
Yes.
seeing them in Nairobi.
Yes.
So what hinders people migrating from maybe rural areas to come to Nairobi seeking for employment?
Yes.
Yes. So I would say in terms of, it's a failure, one, to the county governments, because they're not pulling in investors to their county so that they can be able to invest into it.
Yes.
So if they've not done so, where are people going to get employment in the rural areas or in the counties rather than come to the city to look for employment?
Yes.
Yes.
But one of the areas that we're looking at it is that, yes, you can actually therefore blame the county governments for not actually doing this.
Yes.
But how can the national government, which we also do know has the responsibility of creating these jobs? Because if you looked at the KNBS report of 2019, they were saying that they've created 800,000 jobs within the economy. Is it not the sole responsibility, therefore, to make sure that devolution has the capacity to actually drive these populations away from the city centers or the metropolitans and take them to the county levels, where we can talk about the jobs now getting created there?
One, I'll say it's the responsibility of the government in terms of supporting the counties so that they can be able to create more and expand more in the counties. But then again, what the national government has not been able to do is enabling environment.
Yes.
In terms of, so that investors can be able to go to the counties and maybe create investments.
Yes.
Two, even the counties themselves, we are not seeing them in terms of creating an enabling environment for people to go there and invest. So it's a two-way traffic, because the counties are claiming the national government is not giving them more revenue in terms of money to bring development. But at the same time, look at all the counties, more money they're being given in terms of billions. Where are the billions going? Wage. Revolving wage. So it's more going to the people who working for them, but not to the common mwananchi in terms of bringing development.
Yes.
you see, infrastructure opens people to go and create investment. But look at counties in terms of infrastructure, in terms of road system. They're still very far. So I can't pull my business from maybe Nairobi and go maybe invest in a county in Uphill, depending on one, my customers. If you listen very well to this to the report, they're saying you need to use the numbers to know who are your customers.
Yes.
So if I take my product or maybe my business to other counties where they are not developed,
yes,
am I going to make anything? No, I'm going to go at a loss, and I'm going to close my company or maybe my investment.
Yes.
So I need to invest where I can be able to know who are my customers, they're buying, I understand them. So that is the tricky part of it, and the county needs to leverage in what they're being given by the national government.
Yes.
First, prove they can do something small with what they're being given, so that the national government can be able to have more trust and give them more fundings.
Isn't it? Now we're getting told that 75% of the Kenyan population are actually below 35 years below. What does that really tell you in terms of labor opportunities for the Kenyan economy?
One, I'll say it's a very, very biggest asset.
Yes.
Private sectors in terms of companies need to leverage on in terms of, we have a young working nation.
Yes.
Yes, below 35. So that means more productivity, more results. So private sector needs to take advantage of that in terms of, we have a very young working nation.
Yes.
And the same of government needs to see in terms of how they're going to create more opportunities for these young people.
Pretty much,
yes.
Isn't it?
Like, for example, some few days ago, the Ministry of Youth under the Department of the Department of Youth Fund,
yes,
in terms of went into a memorandum with a shipping maritime company in terms of they want to see how they are going to export labor. But at the same time, I'm asking myself, why are we exporting labor at the same time we can be able to use the labor here?
Yes.
So
pretty much, isn't it? Now, just to cap on this conversation, therefore, in terms of exactly how the counties can actually be utilized or leveraged upon to make sure that we are not talking also about major populations again flocking to the cities as well, come 2029, when we're going to do our census again. Now, if you look at the way it is now, county governments are getting lesser and lesser funds that are supposed to go to the counties now. Now, we've seen governors also in courts trying to struggle to make sure that they have their fair share go to their counties. If we look at the budget policy statement 2020-2021, they're going to only get 374 billion. That's also a lesser cut from the ones that we do have right now. Do you think that this is going to be one of those problems again? We'll be talking about 10 years to come again, where we'll be saying, well, again now, we do have the same pattern which we have been experiencing in the country, despite us talking about full devolved units in the country.
Yeah, that is a very big risk to the counties in terms of getting reduced amount of money to be able to invest in their counties, because one, that means they are going to cut into their wage labor in terms of people are going to be retrenched.
Yes.
Where are these people going to work? Because when you don't get funding, you talked about health is a devolved factor.
Yes.
Education. So in terms of services in the counties, they are going to miss on some of key important services in the counties.
Yes.
So that shows more people are going now to move from that area to the cities, which is a very big risk to the cities in terms of they cannot be able to manage the numbers with the funding they're going to get.
Pretty much.
So everybody the governments need to see how they can be able to distribute the shares in terms of counties, so that they can be able to be able to take care of their counties in terms of services, in terms of their labor, in terms of creating more opportunities for the people around there.
Pretty much. All right, I just want us to move into the next issue that we're looking at this morning. Now, local non-bank services provider Sanlam Kenya has announced it is back to profit after announcing a 550 million pre-tax profit for the full financial year 2019 against a 2.1 billion pre-tax loss recorded in a similar period in 2018. Now, Sanlam Kenya Group CEO Dr. Patrick Tumbo has attributed the firm's full year return to profitability on the company's execution of a corporate turnaround strategy, which focused on improving the firm's operating efficiencies while paying particular attention to client service. During the period under review, Sanlam Kenya's gross revenues from gross written premium and investment income improved by 50% compared to the previous year, while total outflows from policyholder benefits and expenses increased by 4%. Gross written premiums also improved by 10% as a result of 30% growth in short-term insurance business. At the same time, investment income performance made a complete turnaround, reporting a 2.7 billion shillings in revenues compared to 187 million. That included the impact of impaired assets in the previous year. However, the insurance sector has been on an all-time low in market penetration, with 2019 closing at 2.4%, with a Saito investment report indicating that a few of the listed insurance firms in the country were making money out of their core business. Now, can the performance of the economy be solely to blame for the performance of this sector? And with the IFRS 16 in the pipeline in 2021, how do we expect the insurance sector in the country to shape up? And could the insurance firms handling premiums as opposed to agents improve the core business numbers for the firms, with the IRA indicating that agents hold upwards of 40% in unpaid premiums in the sector? Let's listen in to the CEO for Sanlam. Then after that, get talk about this story this morning.
In 2019, we reported very impressive operating results, moving from a prior year loss before tax of roughly 2.1 billion shillings to a profit before tax in 2019 of 550 million Kenya shillings. On gross premium income, there was a significant improvement of 10%, and that is good. On our investment income, improved asset management gave us very good returns, 501% actually improvement over the prior year. Therefore, in terms of total income, we see the group posting significant improvements, 50% over prior year.
We are focusing all our energies towards ensuring the growth of our gross written premiums and investment income, and also to make sure that we ensure sustainable value continuously in line with the Sustainable Development Goals. I want to reassure all our stakeholders to expect sustained growth in our operations moving forward.
Very much sustained growth moving forward. But that is not the talking point this morning, because yes, that's just one of them that are actually now turning back to profitability. But overall, the sector, what really stands out, that they closed 2019 with just a 2.4% penetration within the Kenyan economy. Those are the numbers we're talking about, because you go back to 2017, then you actually find it at around 3.7%. It is not good for them as well. But the question this morning is that if you look at exactly where the insurance sector now places itself, you find that there's a tussle between the insurance firms and the insurance representatives. We would like to call them agents. Now, IRA did indicate last year that insurance agents hold up to 48% of unpaid premiums within this sector. And now there's this tussle between, should they hold premiums, or we just leave the insurance firms themselves to just hold this premiums that we're talking about here? Because that seems to be like the biggest issue that they need to figure. And number two, Samson, when you look at the penetration numbers within the economy, which now stand at 2.4%, what would you say would be the turnaround for the sector?
I think it's a turnaround. Mm-hmm. And the way you're saying in terms of agents, the insurance needs to be able to hold more investment and the premiums themselves.
Yes.
Because in terms of the market, people don't in terms of trust the agents. Why? Because most of them are holding back in terms of the unpaid premiums to them. Yes. So in terms of like the way in terms of Sanlam is going, in terms of growth of 2.4%,
yes,
it shows people have started gaining trust with the insurance companies, and they can be able to trust them though. So what insurance companies need to do is make their customers more in terms of trust them by showing they are very responsible in terms of responding to their needs with quick.
Yes.
With quick in terms of response.
Yes.
Can be able to say, and the market is going to grow from 2.4% to a greater height.
Yes. I want to ask you really, one of those sectors that actually tell you that people have assets that they need to insure is the insurance sector.
Yeah.
Now, would you blame now for the performance of the economy all the way from 2017 to where we are now as to why the sector is performing like this?
I would support that in terms of the economy. People never had in terms of they were struggling
Yes.
with the economy
Yes.
due to political issues that can be able to be castigated to it.
Yes.
But the way the economy is going, I can be able to say it's growing, and
Yes.
it's on a positive way despite the political moods in our country.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Samson, I just want to take a short break at this point right here, because once we come back, we shall be telling you exactly how now Tuskys Supermarket wants to lay off some staff. Remember, Tuskys has been one of those best performing retails, or should I say best performing, because they are on the way to be listed on the Nairobi Bulls, because as we do know, they enlisted within the Ibuka program. What is going on in this sector in a year that saw Nakumat written off the economy dictionary of Kenya? Let's take that break.